Now we're going to move on to our Hot Topic segment. We have a special sponsored Hot Topic guest today. Her name is Toni Thai, a filmmaker, interactive audio, a filmmaker. I like that idea. It sounds kind of fun. It sounds like you're like a little bit more chill.
Just a film Mac.
Just like to mac around the films. Okay. Interactive audio pioneer, Web3 creator, and thought leader. Having grown up in and around the entertainment business, she knew she collided with something special when she learned about the NFT space. Toni co-produced and co-starred in the Gotham Award-nominated film August the 1st, and has written, produced, and directed short films, commercials, and branded content for clients such as Pantene, Clinique, Nissan, and Kmart. On social audio, she's a co-founder of the Audio Collective, and she wrote, directed, and co-starred in a fan fiction version of Hamilton titled Hamilton, a Perspective. She's hosted conversations for Amazon, Bumble, CoinDesk, HBO, Walmart, and Showtime, and for talent such as Tiffany Haddish, Ava DuVernay, and Barry Jenkins, and more. We're thrilled to share that Toni is breathing fresh air into the space with an NFT project called Bad Grrls, with 2 R's and no I, and Creative Club on November 29th, which will be actually tomorrow from this recording date. We'll try to put a little bit of word out about that. So the Bad Grrls Creative Club was the first NFT project to have a pre-launch artist in residence at the Green Space, home to New York Public Radio, which is WNYC or NPR, and other notable programming. The Green Space channels the collective genius of New York City to create forward-looking live art, theater, and journalism that sparks change. Toni is a member of Forbes The Culture via Forbes Magazine and is repped by UTA. Toni, welcome to Edge of NFT. Today, we want to cover a few topics with you. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you. This is cool. I Mac films. I like that.
There you go. You heard it here first. Yeah. First question, just give us a little background. Why did you come up with that name, Bad Grrls Creative Club? What sparked that?
Okay, so I grew up in the entertainment industry in New York, and a woman that I know was kind of considered a mentor. She wound up getting a job producing at we're working with Netflix under one of their production companies. And I said to her back in like 2019, I'm like, hey, I feel like I know a lot of you women in positions of power who can help me. And I don't feel like you guys are really supporting me. And she's like, well, Toni, you haven't worked at a studio or anything with us before, or a record label or anything. So you're looked at as a party girl. I'm like, but how? I went to college. I graduated film school. I've done this. I've done that. I've directed all this stuff. She's like, oh, you have? Because she said to me, I posted too many bikini pictures. And I was like, I only have 5 in the past 5 years, and once was with you in Jamaica. And she said a lot of things, but I'll try to keep it short. But it was pretty insulting. Yeah. And she told me that I wasn't Rihanna. Rihanna can do that, but you're not Rihanna. And I was pretty crushed because I was insulted that she looked at my Instagram, but never even bothered to look at my website and my work. And she's known me since I was a teenager.
Ben and Zach should be posting more bikini pictures.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. I was like, mismark it off.
Bad Boys Creative Club is next. Bad Boys Creative Club next. Seriously, I'm not joking. No, but it's like, so I'm like, why do we have to fit into these boxes and these narratives of what a professional woman could be, what a professional man could be, right? It's like, I hate boxes because you miss out on all the joy that can be in a person, So Rihanna's Instagram handle is Bad Girl Riri. So I was kind of rebelling when I got on Clubhouse. I was naming my club Bad Girl. I named my club Bad Grrls Film Club because I was like, you know what? Well, you know what? I said, F it. I'm going to be a bad girl and I don't care. And I'm going to wear whatever I want to wear. And if people don't like it, too bad, because I'd rather be me than to be a different version of myself just to fit into a system that doesn't care about me anyway. If I'm talented, I'm talented. Diablo Cody was a stripper and she wrote this amazing film called Juno and she won an Oscar. So please don't tell me that someone has to fit into a box just because you didn't go to the right school or live in the right towns or know the right people. So that's where the name came from. It's taking ownership. So it's not like, it's not necessarily like a woman's project, but it is kind of getting people comfortable with being a woman at the head of it. But obviously, like, I like dudes, so I want dudes to be a part of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think a great book to read that I enjoyed was Lean In by not Carl Sandburg, but Sheryl Sandberg. It'd be an interesting mix of authors if you put those two together. But yeah, a couple of things she mentions, which are things that you can apply to both females and just in general to anyone, right? It's like there's certain personality traits that are beneficial that people need to take on. And some of those, kind of could be defined as what you're talking about, being a little bit bad, right? Like being a little bit willing to kind of upset people or try something new or do something that's kind of unfamiliar, right? In the interest of progressing, right? Or kind of pushing your agenda forward or something like that. And so, yeah, I really resonate with that. And especially the side that you mentioned just around, why are we here in the first place on this planet? Right? To be who we are. What else is the purpose of it? Right. So if you can't be who you are before you die, why are you here? Right. So do the best you that you can. Totally agree with that.
Yeah. The world tells us to be ourselves, but not like that. It's kind of weird.
Just be a different you.
Yeah. Well, that's a relic, man. That's such a relic of like the past that we were told you have to dress a certain way, speak a certain way, fulfill a certain blueprint. And especially the upcoming generation knows that's not true. And it's crazy that you even ran into that in New York, because that was the bastion of, I don't give a shit, I'm going to go out and do me. And like, so you still see some of those relics rolling around and saying, you got to do it, play by my rules to get in front. But you know what? You can go around people these days. And if the world vibes with you, they vibe with you. So mad respect for like, saying, no, I'm going to do this. I don't care.
Thank you.
Yeah, the rule breakers, they set the tone, and the iconoclasts, they create the next movement almost every time. And usually that's, the creatives, it's the artists who move first. You've said that an inspiration for you is Andy Warhol's factory. Can you elaborate on that?
So Andy Warhol back in like the 60s, early 70s, he had the factory. It was 3 different locations he would move around, but he kind of like, curated these people around him, these creatives and this artists. He was making art and films. And then he had these actors and other artists like Basquiat and Eddie Sedgwick. How do you say her name? Sedgwick. Anyway,
Edie Sedgwick. Yeah.
Edie Sedgwick, right? And just all these interesting people that wound up becoming like household names and just really important to the culture of art, music, fashion. And it's like, why not put them all together? I actually used to work with this former music industry exec, and about 10 years ago, he had this gallery in Tribeca, and we called it the dojo because it was like a 24-hour karate school, because you would go in and come out better. But like on the first floor, there was an art gallery, and in the back, there was a photography studio where they were working on a magazine. In the basement was like a recording studio, and you had like Mos Def, Erykah Badu, Black Keys, everyone recording there. And then on the second floor, you had like the offices where everyone would meet, and, there's bean bags and everyone's editing and stuff. And it was just like everything. And then we had another space in the basement on the other side where there were performances and people would come and do shows. So that's something I want to recreate. And they used to compare that to Andy Warhol's factory. I'm really close friends with Fab Five Freddy. So he was good friends with Basquiat and with Keith Haring and Andy Warhol. So I learned a lot about them, and Fab always tells me a lot about that time, and even like the Fun Gallery with Patty Astor. So sometimes I'm around him and I want to like relive what they did. And I feel like Web3 is kind of like an open lane for that, because it's also a space where artists get equity. So, with my project, and I've been very vocal about the fact that if anyone mints my project and trades it on a marketplace like SudoSwap, where they don't respect or honor creator royalties, then you're going to lose your utility. Because I got into this because it gives you equity, because a lot of artists and musicians, from years ago and even now, they're not getting equity off of their work. They sell it off, or they just sell the painting, and it's selling for $30 million after they die. And all their family has is like, a magazine picture, but they don't get to participate in that. And I think that that's what's most important for me. I think dignity is a word I use a lot when I talk about like Web3 and NFTs, because I do think that there, a lot of people in this space, we are able to be ourselves. Like we're able to go to conferences, and I don't have to bring a pair of heels if I don't want to. I don't have to. I can wear sneakers every single day, even on stage. I don't have to like be performative, like Zach was saying. So
Yeah.
That's why I'm inspired by Andy Warhol.
Well, yeah. Also, I'm curious, Robbie, you mentioned this sort of rise of user generated content that you see, but you didn't touch upon the user generated content that sort of affects people the way that Toni is mentioning, where it's like, oh, it's just like we're introducing new and trying to change ideas. And like, how do you see the flow of kind of culture and information and trends and sort of like resistance to these things happening in the future?
Look, personally, the way I view art and Bored Apes and things like the Bad Grrls projects is they're just basically DAOs. And DAOs are an incredibly powerful mechanism. They're completely flexible constructs of communal ownership where you can attach utility, attach milestones, attach governance to sort of collate a group of people with shared incentives and common goals and get them to achieve X, Y, or Z, whatever X, Y, or Z is. I think it's going to be incredibly relevant. I'm extremely bullish on DAOs into the future. I think I'm actually less bullish on like I think art has been a phenomenal use case for Web3, but the thing that really excites me is DAOs because they're much more scalable beyond the market of just like luxury art. And so I think we'll see. The thing I'm most excited about is probably solving collective action problems with DAOs, where you can align incentives in quite profound ways, where otherwise individual behavior is incentivized to sort of be selfish at the expense of the community. And now you can have people generate communally good actions, which everyone is bound to through either like mutual subscription or bonding curves. So I actually think it has huge applications for things like climate change or social issues. So yes, I'll butt up that very bullish on DAOs, which I think is ultimately what projects like these are.
I think DAOs are the epicenter of cultural catalysts, and that's what we're talking about here is creating culture through defined communities and having those defined communities reward each other. So that's really cool. And speaking of, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your project and how you're planning to reward your community. Like, what does this entail? What are people getting access to? What do they have to look forward to with this project?
So we have a long roadmap. We're really building for like the next 5, 10, 20 years. I'm trying to build something, to quote Hamilton, the musical. I want to build something that's going to outlive me. So what do you want, Burr? Okay, I'm going to stop. So we're really building for the future. So my next artist in residency is at Zero Space in Brooklyn. It's a metaverse production house. And so there's VR, AR, like all kind of things that we can do. So I started a residency there in January, and just having people who are part of the community come down. And even like, some people are not in New York, obviously, so they'll be able to connect with us and join us virtually. And we'll just sit there and just like, just hash out creative ideas and things that we want to do and build. And then also like funding creatives. I don't really like charity. I mean, there's some charities that are good, but the equity word will come up again. I think that there's more equity in like funding someone and saying, hey, I believe in your project, here's what you do. But I think sometimes when it's charity, it's like, I want to do a photo op, and then that's it. But it's like put people in positions where they can meet the people who can help them grow and scale their businesses. I just really feel like there's a lot of untapped talent, from like every hood in America to every barrio to the coal mines, and I really want to find those people and like see what their ideas are and like have a community that's supporting them. So we're all kind of like cheering each other on and serving kind of like, we are like, I guess in the music industry, they would call it street teams, where the street team would go out and promote and do like this guerrilla marketing. We can do that for our own community and the projects and within the ecosystem. I have been really considering doing a DAO for Bad Grrls Creative Club or turning it into a DAO. I've kind of like back and forth with that. But we'll see, I'm open to it. And there's always, the possibility to turn a portion of it into a DAO. Because eventually, I know I have to wrap it up, but eventually this is all going to form under like a bigger umbrella. So Bad Grrls Creative Club is just the first step of it. So yeah, just upskilling creatives.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting, and I like the overlap that Robbie brought in about the DAO structure and how DAOs kind of mimic this kind of finding your community or building a community, right, that has shared interests and values and things like that. So something definitely to watch out for and look forward to the future of the project. Let's make sure people know where to follow you to know more about this, the website links, share all that stuff right now before we wrap with the segment.
Yeah, my socials are, my personal socials are Toni Thai, like Thai food, TONITHAI. For Bad Grrls Creative Club, for on Instagram and Twitter is at Bad Grrls with 2 R's, no I, like you said, CC. So for Creative Club. And then the website for Bad Grrls Creative Club is www.badgrrlscc.com. And my personal website is ToniThai.com, ToniThai.com.
Awesome. And we also are blessed to have you contributing some NFTs for a giveaway, which we'll share more about on our socials. But you said you'd give 2 NFTs to our community through a giveaway, and those are valued at 0.11 ETH each. So we're very privileged to have you participating there.
And preferably, I want to give priority to people who are creatives, obviously. So
okay, well, we'll try to make the giveaway lean in that direction. We'll try to make some criteria that helps filter for that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Toni, for joining us for our hot topics, and we look forward to seeing you again soon, maybe at NFT LA. All right, we'll catch you later.